Have you ever known true hatred? I have. From my earliest memories, I remember knowing that everyone in my village hated me. I didn't even really blame them. As the bastard son of a lady of the evening, I understood their scorn. They hated me, and I returned their hatred 100-fold. One day, the universe decided to repay me for all the suffering they'd inflicted. It happened so suddenly that I didn't notice it at first, nor did they. They joked and laughed and mocked me as always, yet as the day wore on, their jokes slowed. Their laughing became sedate, and finally, as worry finally crossed their faces, they were stilled entirely, locked in time. I was alone in a world of statues. I'm not an evil man. I didn't immediately begin to rejoice in their misfortune. I spent weeks trying to wake them, to have anyone I used to know come back to me. But despite my best efforts, they remained frozen, trapped in a single moment. And so, eventually, my old hatreds emerged. I never meant them to, but with no one to hold me in check, I one day found myself screaming at my old tormentors. Everything I'd wanted to say for years came flowing out, shouted into their unmoving faces. And once that wall, that hesitance to reveal my contempt for them all, finally came down, my fervor advanced rapidly. I started by telling them all what I thought of them. Screaming my loathing at them contented me for a time. Without their contemptible voices to speak over me, I was able to finally say what I'd always wanted. But that only satisfied me briefly. Soon I was striking them, emphasizing each word with a blow to the face or body. And even though they were locked in place, I imagined I could see the pain in their eyes, a tiny shadow of the hurt they'd inflicted on me over the years. Beatings eventually gave way to true retribution. Whether I could find, I used on them, repaying emotional torment with physical. For every wound they'd put on my soul, I put 100 on their bodies. The people who'd shamed me suffered, and those who'd rejected me could reject me no more. I was a god over the unmoving. I don't know how many years I had to enact my revenge, but I do know that I repaid them many times over for their hatred. Yet, I'm left with one question. Was it worth it? That's what haunts me as I feel myself begin to slow, as I watch their limbs begin to move for the first time in an eternity. Their lungs begin to breathe, their hearts begin to beat, their life begin to resume. In these last moments as I recall my hatred, repaid 100-fold on them, and look into their eyes, I begin to understand what true hatred is. And I wonder, will they show the mercy I didn't?